Hello and welcome to the Mix Air Rap Podcast. I'm your host, DJ B Wise. This is a podcast we talk about hip hop from boom bap to trap. We're a group of hip hop enthusiasts trying to bridge the gap in hip hop. Man, party people, we at you tonight with a real one. You know who I got with me in the building? I got my man Kev, the backpack and underground legend. I got the youngest in charge in the building. Malcolm is back. And we are talking about, you know it, K. Dot. Kendrick Lamar's new project, GNX. We're going to get straight to it after we holler at the fellas and see where they are. Kev, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. Uh, you know, quite a busy weekend, but still able to find time to jump in on this album and see what all the hype was about.
Happy to be here. Interesting to see that he, you know, the goat K Dot has dropped again, and happy to review this and hear you all's opinions.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. I would be remiss if we start the show without showing love to my man Kev and his birthday. Recently just had his birthday, and we got to show him love for that. And happy birthday, my man Kev. So we're gonna jump straight into it. And fellas, let's talk about it, man. I think my first question would be to everybody, jump in where you feel like it. What was your first impressions?
I think for anybody who's been listening to the show, I've always said, I've been saying this run he on means nothing without new music. So I think he needed this more than anything else because what was the purpose? What was the purpose of the Drake beef if it wasn't going to be followed by new music? So I think he's elevated himself just a few steps higher than what he was coming into the year. I have my complaints, but I'll hold off on them to later. But overall, um, the rumors were he was going to drop an album this year, and for him to finally do it, uh, so close to the end of the year, I think that it was still something people wanted, and I think that he did a good enough job to kind of make himself still the top dog in the game.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that one. Man, my first thoughts was he needed this. I know I've had this debate with several people. They felt like he didn't need to drop anything this year because he controlled the summer. I believe that he needed to put out some slaps before the end of the year in order for him to continue to claim his throne, and that was the biggest part of this for me. And hey, this is a 12-track, 44-minute project. Um, hey, I'm glad he did something. I hope that he has something else stored up as well. This dropping every 5 years. I'm not asking him to drop every, to do a future thing where he's dropping every 4 or 5 months. But in this day and age, in order to maintain your stature, you really have to come a little more often. You have to definitely drop more often. And this was interesting. I'm gonna leave my opinions a little further down the road as the fellas, give their opinions and see what Malcolm's got to say. Malcolm, your thoughts? What was your first impressions of K Dot's project GNX?
I'm both of you all have foreshadowed some of the stuff I have to say. He has to. You got to put out music to stay relevant, and him doing that along with the beef with Drake, and then the height of how other people were brung into it as well. It all was supported and keeps Kendrick relevant even more than he was when he wasn't dropping. Now that he's released another project, um, I guess we're holding off on our opinions on it But now you can say 2024 was, music, rap music, hip hop. You can say that Kendrick was the main, you know, it the main topic of the year. And you can hate him or love him. The album was not, it was not something that he just rushed out. He probably had been working on this and put it masterfully together and was able to just time the dates right for him to, keep the attention on him. And, it was a good thing. And, he also will be, doing a Super Bowl, right?
Yep, for sure.
So now you got Super Bowl and coming up for the beginning of 2025. I can see this being more than just a year. And you can hate it or love it, but when you talk about being tactful with keeping placement of drops, appearances, media coverage, whatever, he's in his groove right now. So hey.
I'm with you on that, man. So yeah, I just wanted to get our initial thoughts out there on the project. Now we can delve more into the actual project and just say that what we did, what we didn't, how we felt about each track or the tracks overall, the sequencing, all of that. I'm gonna say for me, and I don't mind jumping in here right away, and you guys can jump in wherever you feel like it. For me, 12 tracks, perfect timing. He didn't need to go long on this one. If he decides to drop something in 2025 and he wants to go long, great. But for me, I thought this was needed. And he stayed true to his theme over the beef, and that was showing love to his coast, not making it seem like it was West Coast heavy, where it would take away from the fans that he was getting, the fans that he has gained over the last year. He made everything very approachable. That's a great word for it. He made everything very approachable. And the first two tracks, amazing. The fellas may have to help me with these some of how he spelt some of these words, but I guess it's called Whacked Out Mural is the first track, and then Squabble Up. Those two tracks have been the most streamed, and he's probably going to really win with those joints. The features, it's tough. I mean, one thing we can say about Kendrick is that he really stays with his team. He's not one to stray away and do some different things. I think he and J. Cole are big on that. And I don't know. We'll hear from the fellas to see where their mind is on this. I don't know. As far as production, most of the production was done by Soundwave. He definitely had uh, Jack Antonoff on there as well. They did most of the tracks. He jumped in on a couple. He had Mustard do a couple. I don't know, fellas. I don't know. Y'all gonna have to help me with this one. I thought that he did. They found some really nice samples for him, and that helped out a lot. But the biggest part of this project for me, guys, is that he made some smacks. 1 and 2, these kids are going to listen to that joint from now until the Super Bowl. And when he plays these joints during the Super Bowl, as well as his other masterpieces from his other albums, it's going to be a great Super Bowl. This just puts a cherry on top of his work that he's already done. Hey, don't let me hold
Let
you
me let me
back.
let me ask a question. Let me ask a question, and this
Go
is
ahead.
part of my criticism. Is it me? It could be just me, but I feel like he was a little bit uh whiny or emo or Eminem esque with some of his songs. Was it just me,
It
or
was
did
not.
anybody else
It
say?
was not. I
Let's
Okay,
I
talk
got the same thing.
okay. That was
that
I.
The Tupac one that he was giving, honor back or acknowledging Tupac. He tried to do that. That was
But no, but look,
he
but how can you sit there and say Nas is the only rapper to congratulate you when Jay-Z is running the artist who selects the Super Bowl.
Yep.
He was being
Jay-Z is the
selective. He was being
Jay-Z is a
selective.
rapper. Jay-Z selected Kendrick Lamar. So how can you say Nas is the only rapper? That's one. So what? Nas is the only rapper that congratulated you. So what? Who cares? Why are you
He was not
crying
being
about it?
literal. It was for the
He was
bar.
crying about. He
It
cried
was
about
for the
that.
bar.
He cried about Lil Wayne. Oh, Lil Wayne
It
said
was
I don't
it
deserve it.
was I don't
No,
think
he
you
should.
can
This is.
take him
I'll tell you this.
seriously for every
I'm
bar
gonna tell you what
after
he
you
should have
saw
did.
him.
After he should have took that future verse he did, and he should have based this whole album off that verse about how he's the best. No one can touch him. He should have bragged the whole album. And I'm telling you, if he'd have bragged the whole album, this might have been top 3 in his catalog. If he'd have bragged
Nobody
that
was
whole album.
gonna listen to that for 12 songs.
What you mean? Who don't? The girl, Megan does it. Glorilla just did it.
And who
Uh,
doesn't get tired
Lotto
of
does it.
Megan doing it? She
What are
has
you
burnt
talking
out
about?
that. Megan
She
has
had
burnt that
she
out.
had Megan had a
Glorilla
big
is
ass
just
sellout.
on the
Do
rise,
you
so she
see
can
the
do that.
arenas Megan just did? Bravado
Doesn't
rap.
matter that you're gonna
What
sell
are you
out
talking
regardless.
about? She was selling out 20,000 seats arenas.
Yes.
Bragging.
How
Brag rap.
how okay, so how many, and we're not gonna go too in depth, but how many fans are going to see Megan for her music or to see Megan and they because they
Who?
like her music?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
What? So you saying they
People
just going to
go to
see her shake her butt?
concerts to
You're just saying they're going to go see Megan shake her butt. That's the only reason they go see
not
Megan.
no, because that the show, because I like this person, because I enjoy their music. It is not
Right.
because they're going to sing along with the songs, song to song. I know plenty of people that mumble and don't really know lyrics, including myself, but will enjoy to see the artist that
True.
they see on
Okay.
their
I'll give you
phones
that.
or
I'll
on
give you that.
a lot
I'll
of
give you
them,
that
majority
point.
is probably just to go. So, but bragging about yourself, I feel like Megan is burning it out. Lotto, she's on the way to burning it out if she doesn't take her level up. She doesn't and become more of an icon or more desirable as an artist. I feel
So,
like
so,
that'll burn up. Well,
so
really,
let me
just
ask you
on
this.
she's doing what she's supposed to do.
Let me ask you this. So you think that someone who is it fair to say someone who kind of complains about certain things as opposed to someone bragging, a complainer may be a better or more relatable artist than a bragger?
I think that
Complainer.
we're
You shaking your head,
okay.
yes? Huh?
I think that we're okay either way based on this. J. Cole bragged a bunch on his last project and got nominated for a Grammy.
I would have loved to see him not. I would have loved to see him not address the congratulations thing for the Super Bowl or Lil Wayne's feelings, or
Yeah, of
I would have loved to
course.
see him not do that because when I first heard him say something somewhat emotional, I thought of Eminem's last album, how he opened it up and saying how can fans question his catalog or Kendrick Lamar's catalog? Who cares? Who
Yes, but you just
cares?
answered your question. Another album that was braggadocious this year. I think
Who?
that you're right.
Whose album was
Eminem's
braggadocious?
album had four solid braggadocious tracks on it.
I'm just saying the opening song to Eminem's album where he complained about people criticizing his catalog,
Yes.
criticizing Kendrick's catalog. Like,
Yes.
who cares?
But I think you
You're
could have
one of
looked
the
at it either way. You could have looked at it as him whining or as him trying to mark his territory as him being the GOAT. The issue is we've utilized that word in such a frivolous way that
which word?
GOAT, that now we
Okay.
have so many people who are actually still in the game who can utilize that title. We allowed Lil Wayne to say that. He's still making music. We allowed Eminem to say that, and he's still making music. You got LL Cool J, who actually won that title based on real work, and he's still making music. Now you got K. Dot, Drake, and J. Cole professing that they're goats. Well, guess what? Now we're hearing that the possibility after uh, Aquima pick by Tyler is now he could possibly be a goat. So we're just using that word, and I think this is something that's happened over the last 20 years with the youth, the Generation Y and Generation Z. They want greatness so bad that they're willing to give it even if it's not warranted. I don't want to delve into the whole LeBron James thing, but greatness is greatness, and it's hard to not say where it is. When you see it, you see it. There was runs like the Jay-Z run that made him the GOAT. Fortunately for him, he didn't have a lot of competition, and Nas wasn't picking the best beats. But now we got this K. Dot thing happening here, and it's just weird for me. And I'm gonna pass it back to you guys. I wouldn't say I would say I would have loved to hear him have brag, like Kev said, throughout at least 4 or 5 of the tracks, because it felt very emo over at least 5 tracks. Squabble Up, that one made me feel like he was headed in the right direction. But then he went on to this other stuff with SZA, and I was like, oh, okay, we whining now. That's just me. That's me. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm just saying that
Look,
he was whining after Squabble Up.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say he was whining or complaining a lot, but he made references within, and you could say it was a lot. You could say it's a few or whatever, but it's just I wish he would just put himself on a pedestal, and just like you did on that Future song when you said there's no big three, there's just big me. And if you just took that momentum, just like you did into the Drake beef, keep on carrying that. Like you are the man and no one can touch you. Because to be honest with you, I don't know if this is better than Tyler's album. I'll be honest. I don't know if this is Tyler's album.
Oh, oh,
That's not a
snap.
bad take.
This is not touching Tyler's album. Matter of fact, I don't even know if you compare this to J. Cole's little mixtape. That's a coin flip.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know about
That's
that.
a
I don't
coin
know about
flip.
that.
That's a tough
That's
statement
a
there,
coin flip.
people.
That's a coin flip. I don't know if this is better than J. Cole mixtape.
I know that's a tough one too, because I will say, like I just said earlier, J. Cole was successful in his braggadocious rap throughout that project, and he gave you a little bit of the softer side too. But he was hard on how good he was on that project, and that is the one weakness I'll say for this GNX project is that there was a little bit more vulnerability than I thought it should be,
Okay,
being that he
let's do
had
this.
grown.
Is this the top 5 album of the year?
Malcolm?
No, not at all.
Oh man. Hey, y'all talk. Let me look some things up. Y'all talk.
Well, look. Let's say this. No one is saying this is a bad album. No one is saying this is a bad album, and we try our best to put the best foot forward. But nothing's perfect, right? And I didn't want to bring these points up to say, oh, I hated this or Kendrick Lamar's this, that, another. It was just a little point. It's small, it's minute. Overall, I enjoyed the album, but I don't know if this is top 5 of the year. I really don't know. I really don't know. Like when we do the year-end show, I don't know if this is one of the 5 best albums of the year. It's definitely not top 3. If it falls anywhere, it could squeeze in at 5. Maybe it could edge something out at 4. but I don't know if it's top 3.
It can't.
I don't know.
It can't do either of those. It's not top 5 at all.
Because I mean, it's not better than Tyler's album.
Nope.
It's a coin flip with J. Cole. I don't.
It's not better than Blue Lips album.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not better than Lupe Fiasco's album.
It's a coin flip with Lupe. It's a coin flip
It's
with
not better
Rhapsody.
than Pete Rock and Common's album.
Yeah, it is.
Whoo, you be mean
Yeah,
on
it
that
is.
one.
Yeah, it is.
Is it better than Future and Metro Boomin?
The first or second one?
The second one.
I was better than the second one.
The one that We Don't Trust You.
No.
You talking about the mixtape? You talking about the mixtape? No, I'm talking about We
Yeah.
Don't Trust You.
Oh, that first one?
Yeah,
It's not better than that. That one almost it got a nomination for the Grammys.
that's what I'm saying. So then
That Future album was great. Yeah,
Chromacopia.
this ain't top 5. This not
Yeah,
top 5. It's not better
it's
than
not better
LL.
than
It's not better than
LL.
LL.
It's not
It
better
ain't
than
better than Rhapsody.
Chromacopia.
Not better than
Oh,
Rhapsody.
you saying it's not better than Rhapsody?
That's not better than Rhapsody.
Then he
It's
might not
better than
make top
Rhapsody.
10 then, guys. This may not
He can
be
make
top
top 10.
10.
He can make top 10.
Because then
But
you
it's
gotta
not
throw
top 5 of the year.
Eminem's album in there.
It's better than that.
You gotta throw Eminem's album in there. You
It's
gotta
better than
throw
M's album.
Glorilla's album in there.
Ooh.
Gotta put her album in there.
Ooh. It's a tough one.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know if he's in the top 10. And what's his name? Big X, the plug. I'm hearing a lot of things
it's not better than that one. It's not
Malcolm,
better
you
than
don't like that? You don't like that Big X, the plug? A lot of people like that joint. And
Guys,
don't let me
we're just
forget,
listing
Rod Wave's
stuff
album
off
is selling
now.
great, guys. His album's selling great.
Wait, what you say, Malcolm?
I guess we're listing. We're just listing at this point. I feel like we have talked about or listed the top albums or projects. What did I say about this year? This year was not that great of a year.
Oh, come on, man.
Cumulatively.
Oh, man.
This was a
the
major
music
year for hip hop.
That Big X the Plug album shocked me, man. I really, really liked that one.
Every song sounds the same.
Huh? What'd you say?
It's not worth repeating. Not worth repeating.
Well, let's walk through it then very fast here, guys. I really want you guys got me interested in this. Let's just walk through it super quick. I'm looking here right now. Blue Lips was probably one of the first albums to drop that was claimed to be one of the better albums this year. A lot of people say that Blue Lips album was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think we reviewed it well. I thought it was streamable from us, but Schoolboy Q did an amazing job on that project. That was just me. Now that I'm looking at it, that Rhapsody album, I mean, we can come back to it, but that Rhapsody album was pretty damn good, you know? And then you look at, for me, Samurai by Lupe, that was a cold album. Now, I did think he jumped out the window when he said he was the best rapper of all time and no one could touch him, but that project was great. Now, I get you guys saying the auditorium wasn't that great, but as far as the production value on that, and I know Common didn't go above and beyond on the project, but you got to give it some credit. I at least put it at 8 for this year. It's probably the 8th best album this year. Then you got to look at a lot of, the Force is to me, the Force is top 10, top 5. I just think the Force. Then you got We Don't Trust You. That's the Future and Metro Boomin. Then if we go to Chromacopia, most people are putting that at number 1. I'm saying Chromacopia, Force, and Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. Those are your top 3, right? If we're all in agreement with that, then you got to then say Glorilla's album is in there. You got to throw Eminem's album in there. J. Cole's project. We're literally, dudes, we're at 7. We're at 7 already. So I just don't know where do you go?
So let me ask you this then. That's okay. So none of us think it's top one of the 5 best albums this year. I think we all agree on that one, right?
Yes.
Malcolm was not going to agree to this point, but I'll ask. I guess it's a question for me and you. Does everyone else stepping up the game put makes that gap closer to top 5 rappers in the game?
I don't think it makes it. The only person I think who really stood out and put themselves in the conversation of the game. We talked about him on our last episode, and we're going to talk about him again today. I think Tyler, man, he's really putting out again since 2027. He's put out some amazing projects. I just don't know how
2017.
he's not in the conversation. You know, does anybody else think he shouldn't be in the conversation?
I mean, I said it last show.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that Tyler should be number one. I think Tyler has been consistently putting out better music over the last, what I think I said, 5 years or so, 5, 6
yep,
years or so.
yep. It's been
I don't
7.
know I don't know if another rapper has over this time. I mean, Nas is the closest one, and Nas was just. I mean, it's you could say it's old man rapper or whatever, but this quality, Tyler the Creator and Nas to me over the past 6 years, I don't know if anybody has been putting out better quality than those two. I mean, Nas is too old to be top 5, but I think Tyler's number one. I really do that. I said that last show, and I'll say it again. Tyler's number one in the game. So I guess the question I'm asking, I do think that the gap is closing. I think there is a closing of the gap. And like I said last show, I think that that big three or whatever is open for one or two new entries.
Yeah, and I definitely think that Tyler becomes in that conversation. The issue is where you. I don't voice this one to Malcolm. Where do you think Schoolboy Q and Ab Soul fit in this project? Where do you think they fit in the scheme of all this?
You're talking about top five?
The current top 5. Ab Soul has put out some decent stuff over the last. A lot of people think it's highly acclaimed, as well as this Blue Lip project for Schoolboy Q. These albums are highly acclaimed. So I'm just saying, are they getting closer, like Kev said, or are they still in their same spots?
Schoolboy Q and Absol are not getting closer.
Okay. All right.
I don't think that we. First of all, I don't know what type of artist that Schoolboy Q wants to be. When I talk about um like A, B, C list, or I don't, because he doesn't release enough that gets enough noise consistently. And I don't know if that has to do. Is he still under TDE?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Let me
project
double
could be
check, but I
great.
think he
I
is.
just don't know how you can not keep attention on you for a period of time for you to put out great work or do great things, for people to really like hold you or like allow you to, be higher up on the list. I don't love Schoolboy Q. Been listening to him for years, but and I enjoy the album. I don't know.
But I think with Schoolboy Q, I think now he just does it just for the hell of it and not even for a placement on any top list. Because I mean, you know, I think about like his Drink Champs interview. I mean, he pretty much was like, I'd rather be home with my family. I'd rather do things with my kids. I'd rather do this. I'd rather do that. It's all this stuff outside of rap. And he doesn't make it a priority. You know what I mean? Um, it's I think when you look at just the West Coast as a whole this year, I think they might have the best year out of all the different coasts. The West might have it. I mean, Doechii, she's from California. She has a dope ass album. Schoolboy Q, you just said, Absol, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler, the number one in the game right now. there was a thing that went up was just showing like how many West Coast artists that put out music this year that received positive recognition. So what Kendrick is doing is great. I guess I hate to say this because it might sound too so soon, but what's next? You know what I mean? Like you dropped this good album. Now we know you're off TDE. Now we know you got plans to do other stuff. You can call your own shots. Uh
He would
I
need to
hate to say
release right around the same time he does the Super Bowl or after for him to really submit that first quarter of the new year. Just
so
continuing 2024's reign of
so
attention and
so
status.
so do you think it should be a solo project or a collaboration project? Because he still has the one with
He can do whatever he wants to do.
what's his cousin's name? I can't think of the guy's name. I can't think of his name.
Malcolm, you know his name. What's his name? He just dropped last
I
year.
don't know his name. Was it
There it
Yes.
Baby
is.
Key? What's it?
B-
Yeah.
Baby
Yeah.
Keem.
Baby
Baby
Keem.
Keem. They supposed to do something that a lot of people want to hear. So I mean, I agree. I agree. I think he should drop towards the Super Bowl because, um, like I said, I said before that if you're gonna do the Super Bowl, you're having something to promote. Um, this album here, I think it was a good preview to the Super Bowl, but I would love to hear something else in February around that time, either before or right after the Super Bowl. Um, but yeah, I mean, you know, I think I guess we can move on to the next topic though. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we got stuck here for a minute, so I get it. But again, we're still on. What did you guys think about the production? How about that? Is that a decent
The
question?
production was outstanding.
I definitely think that
Outstanding.
that was the strong point of the entire album. That's for me. And I know Kev likes to do the one or the sticking with the similar, the same producer throughout, and that's basically what he did. Soundwave and Jack Antonoff, they pretty much did everything. Mustard, like I said, Mustard did. I think Mustard and K Dot are on two, two. I can't remember. But they're it's mostly Soundwave. Soundwave did most of the album. I think that's I don't know, man. It's so tough because when you look at Chromacopia, that's not done by all the he went all over the place with those producers. So I just don't know. It's tough to figure this one out. It's really tough to figure that out.
I mean, um, I love the way the producers use the samples. It was a very good samples. It made it relatable, and Kendrick is such a good artist that he was able to adjust his rhymes or his flow to fit that sample that they were using on some of the songs. Um, yeah, overall it was a good production. Overall, it's good production. No one uh has ever really complained about his beat selection. That's never anything you ever really heard was his beat selection. So it was nothing new that anybody was going to feel like it was going to be a bad beat or something on his album.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. So then I would then roll right into what's the highlight? What is the peak? What's your peak points on the project? I do think the sequencing could have been a tad bit better. I think that there should have been at least one song, maybe two songs to separate Whacked Out Murals and Squabble Up. Maybe one song. I think that if he would have done which was the one with the Luther sample on it. That was um I can't remember which one that was. But if they'd have put that
It
Luther
was
sample.
Luther. It was called Luther, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, so okay. So if you would have taken Luther number 3 and moved it in between Whacked Out Murals and Squabble Up, I really believe that would have been better sequencing for the project. And then Hey Now, if you'd have put TV off in between that with TV off with that's Lefty Gunplay, and you'd have slid that in between um uh Reincarnated and Hey Now, and because that's right, Mustard did Hey Now, and I liked Hey Now, but you K Dot came right behind that with his production and did the Reincarcerated. So I think that if you would have slid TV off in between those two, the album would have been perfectly sequenced, because the songs after that all fell, I think, in the right order. It's just those two sections that could have been a little bit better. That's just for me. And again, I don't want you to just plow into me with all your hot stuff. I think the hot stuff should be spread out a little bit. If not a lot, just a teeny bit. Anybody's thoughts on that? Y'all thought it was, it flowed very well?
It was all right. I didn't have any opinion on it.
So I'm not understanding, Malcolm, from you. Where are you on this, man? I'm not. You seem so lukewarm, and I'm just like, you're.
Because he did this album was probably equivalent to his last one. And if
You think
you
this is
know,
equivalent to the
Whoa,
Big
that's a hot take.
Stepper, Mr. Morale? Wow.
why are you guys acting like all these songs are not on the same, like, what are we doing? Are you guys serious? The album was on the same level as his last one.
Mr. Morale was
Maybe less.
depressing. Mr. Morale was very depressing. This wasn't
Yes.
his I guess I don't know what word we're going to use. I don't want to say whiny or complaining or emo, but his emotional lane he was going in on some of that stuff wasn't as bad as Mr. Morale. Mr. Morale was all over the place. That might be his worst album. I'll say
Okay,
it now. No one
I
else wants to say
misspoke. I
I'll say it.
misspoke. I misspoke. I misspoke. Not Mr. Morale. Not Mr.
So
Morale.
we'll get into that where this places in a moment. What I would say to your point, Kev, is that from now I've had conversations with a few heavy K Dot fans, and from my understanding, each one of his projects outside of the first mixtape were specifically curated for the whole album was curated like a piece of art. And I'm pretty sure he did this one in the same way. So the Mr. Morale album and the High Steppers, that was curated that way. And a lot of people find that to be one of his most genius projects, based on the fact that he gave you so much information and made himself so much vulnerable, a lot more vulnerable. I myself, being a man of a certain age, it is not one of my top albums of his. We'll get into that more, but I
I
think
think
that
that
if go ahead.
I think that today's fans are loyal to their favorite artists. And here's what I mean by that. Will How many Kendrick fans will you talk to that will admit that he had a bad album? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, is it okay? The point about his albums being fitting like this one lane or this one zone, or it's like also all the songs were relatable to the other. Yes, you can have that point though, but just because he created a package doesn't mean that everything inside that box is good or made sense or needed to be there. Just like you said that if he switched some, like me and you mainly talk about this point of album sequencing, right? And a lot of people don't even really understand why we make that point of album sequencing, because at one point in time, sequencing an album was an art form just like the music on that album. Like it wasn't just about the artist. It was about everyone involved. You know what I mean? Like from the person who influenced the artist to write something. The the artist and the beat maker sitting in the studio collaboration on the sound that matched the wording. An engineer properly mixing. Like I don't know if they still do it, but they used to give out a Grammy for engineering. They used to
Yep.
give out a Grammy for mixing and mastering. I don't know if they do it anymore, but that mixing and mastering was an art form. That engineering was an art form. That executive producer who listened to all these songs and made the selection of the songs to go on this album and put and actually took the time to sequence. If it was 10 songs, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I don't like 10. I'm gonna move 10 to 5, 5 to 7. Move stuff around, and that's how we had. That's why so many older people talk about their music was so great. In a sense, they're actually right because there was everybody and it was so many people involved working towards one goal to create the best body of work ever. And I don't think we really have a lot of that now. I just think that people just take a lot of songs, take the 10 best songs, put them together or whatever, and then put it out. And
Does the artist have more control, you think?
I think it depends on whatever the situation is because um, a lot of artists today have to build themselves up to get control, especially if you're on a major label. But if you're on an indie label, uh you have to trust the people on your team to put you in the position to win. So that's okay. Like we brought up the guy LaRussell, right?
Yep.
I think LaRussell has a good team. Now, granted,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that he's not involved in a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, but I believe he has a good team that supports him and he trusts his team to put him in a position to win. So would LaRussell need to sign to a major label? No. No, he's
exactly.
good where he's at. But let's take an artist like a Glorilla. A Glorilla has to sign to a major label because she wouldn't be able to do it on the indies. Because I don't think she could get a person right now at this point in her career behind the scenes that she could trust to guide her career to the next step on the indie level. And I don't know if I don't know if they would have a good rapport with one another because it's so much that go on actually behind the scenes that when you're talking, big money, it's a big difference. It's a big difference between big money or I mean, like you saw the famous Dame Dash video when he went up in the office yelling at these record executives because they held a meeting without him, right?
Yep.
And Dame says, like, oh, they took me out, they pushed me out, they didn't want me to have this, they didn't want me to have that. No, look at your performance here. Granted, you're mad, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't be mad for you to be part of this team and they X you out. I'm not saying he shouldn't be upset though, but there are different ways to handle situations. You know what I mean? Like I can yell at you, but I can't yell at somebody 30 years older than you. You know what I mean? Like I'm older than you, so I can talk. I'll talk to you like I'm trying to mentor you or you know push you in the right direction. But somebody like 10 years older than me, I can't talk to them the same way I talk to you. I mean, that makes sense. It's
Very
Got to
much
certain
be
so.
professional.
it's certain ways you got to handle certain situations. So I think that it's the thing with it's I don't want to say it takes a lot to be successful today because actually it's a lot easier to be successful in the music business today than probably any other time ever because of the internet and social media and
And
uh
bots.
and bots and AI. But even with all the tools that you need to be successful are a click away. You know what I mean? Like you don't even Like Pro Tools is one of the biggest uh programs that producers use.
Hmm.
Some people pay $300-400 for Pro Tools. Somebody else got Pro Tools offline because somebody put the file up online. They got it for free. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? There's people that there's lawyers who are undercover producers on their off day. They are, you know what I'm saying? There are judges and doctors. There are doctors who are ghostwriting for other people. Like you can have a 9 to 5 and your part time is secretly making music that is actually successful, and nobody will never know it was you. That's unheard of. That is unheard of because everything we've seen is artists. If you wanted to be an artist, that was your full time job, or it was being an artist was half your time of the day. So um it's a unique situation, and it's just like, like I said before, what's next for Kendrick? Like, what's going to happen next? And I love your point. Like, he needs to do something big right around the time of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely he needs to drop something. And I mean, even if I give it to you like this, if he just does a deluxe version of this project and adds 4 more tracks that are slaps, that's all he needs. He can come out with a full new project. I'm cool with either way. I just say he does not have as much levity as he might think he has because Drake's coming. The boogeyman is coming and he is making slaps. And you're probably gonna see 4 to 5 slaps on his next project. I think he's going totally top 40 on his next project to get his numbers where he wants them at and keep the claim to his fame as far as he believes he's the GOAT. I don't know if he's going to make an artistic album the way Chromacopia and GNX are. I don't know. Same
It's
thing I'll say with Blue
before there
Lips.
was any other. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You in?
Guys, Drake has been doing this for my whole life. So we have to understand that he's the master mind behind, or not even him. You're talking about a team, that he has a team plus Drake by himself who is his own team. So I feel like him not saying anything right now will position him in the perfect place to put out something that'll silence all that. If Kendrick, if he doesn't do like what you said, the deluxe, or come out, because I was just thinking about how much of a formula this is, and the fact that before he came out, the beef happened, yes, but those songs he was releasing and then had a project, and then if you extend some more anticipation with adding a few additional songs to a project and then come out with another project, like it's you can reuse, the the formula. But Drake has this down pat. This is not his first time in beefs, and usually we don't hear from people that much or at the same rate after they deal with him. So
Well, let me ask this
yeah,
then. So,
artistic. I'm
I,
not questioning anything. I just know whenever Drake does release, is going to be significant. We should all know this by now. It's probably going to be
so,
better than the last 2 albums. Anything that he's released since before, for the like before For the Dogs. What is the other one with the lady on the front of it? It's
oh,
another one. Those two, whatever he releases next, is going to be better than the last 3 albums he's made. I feel like, and if it doesn't, then that shows you how he's been impacted by the beef. So
but I don't know if I mean I don't know. You know what? Well, let me say this. I'll say this.
I mean,
I mean, I think both of you guys make very excellent points, and I think that the thing you just said makes me think that I can see Drake doing something major close to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, he's
I
definitely
would
looking to compete.
I would like to see the beef over. Be honest with you, I'd like to see the beef be done, but I don't know. I mean, since we've been sitting here talking, I think that gap is closing on the top spot, and
Guys,
Drake dropping close to the Super Bowl would be great. It would steal some of Kendrick's shine. Just like if everything you just said, Malcolm, if Drake drops close to the Super Bowl and it's a good album, it steals Kendrick's shine. A little bit.
you gotta
Just a little
understand.
bit.
You gotta Drake. You gave Kendrick has had a song played through a whole year this year. Are we wrong? We all know the song,
Two
correct?
songs. He had two songs. He
They,
started the
they
year with
not like
one,
us.
huh?
They
Not
not
like
like
us
us
came
has been playing.
since the summertime, pretty much.
That's
What,
what I'm
March?
saying.
I
So
mean
from the
April.
summer till the end
For
of the
no, from
year,
January.
or
No, from January, he had the Future song in January. They played that to death.
okay,
And then Not
yes.
Like Us came like in like April or May or something. April, I think. And it's been the rest of the year. He's dominated
So
this year.
Drake has had more than just a song, albums play for year after year after year for the whole year.
I'm
He's
not
done that
disagreeing with you.
time
I'm
on
not
time
disagreeing
on
with you
time
though.
on time on time again. So my point is, when we're giving this, I don't take this seriously. This is great. I love it. Beef is great for them two because it keeps attention and money coming cycling through what they have going on. But I can't really think. I don't really think outside of this little fisticuffs of words that went down. I don't think Drake is taking this that seriously. And to dim his light, to dim Kendrick's light, he will definitely do something like that. But regardless, everyone already is anticipating when Drake is going to drop. For the fact that they are waiting for a response, and for the fact that it's Drake, and every time there's a song or album, his bots or whatever listeners listen every time. Doesn't matter. The quality is never really below average, but
Yeah. So let me just jump in. I mean, this has been a really good conversation. I don't want to draw us out too long, running in a circle. I think we've come to our realizations of where we are on the project. So as we close out, I just want each person to give their final thoughts on where they are with the album and their expectations for the future, and then we'll get ready to sign out of this. And I'll start it off and just say that this was a well-needed project. This is a quality project. We're doing t- we're microscoping this thing to take away what we're to tell you what we're trying to tell you. This is not something where we're saying this is not a project to listen to. This is a quality project. What we're saying is that where we are in the year, it's been a lot of great stuff put out this year. I know Malcolm said it's not, but for those of us who enjoyed a lot of the rapping projects that came out this year, this is solid. But is it top 5? Hit us in the comments, right? Tell us what your top 5 for 2024 are. Let us know. I mean, again, it doesn't hurt to find out. Let's have this discussion. We'll mention your comment on our next episode. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this, people. So just let us know what you think your top 5 of 2024 are. And look, if you don't want to do a 5, give me a 10. Give me a 10. And for our end of the year show, you will see where we stand as far as what we thought were the highlights for 2024. I just believe that, and the highlight show is going to be a two-parter. It's going to be a YouTube end of the year episode. Anyway, so for me, I just think that this was a really solid project. uh, I get I lose myself from time to time because I'm so focused on trying to get so many different things done. I just want you guys to know this is a very quality project. Kudos for Kendrick for putting this out early and not waiting like a lot of people thought he was just going to wait until the Super Bowl. This was a bold move. I hope it was a calculated move and that he has other things to follow this. And I'm just happy that we got good music in the hip hop genre this year. So that's what that matters the most to me is to continue this legacy with integrity. And I think that this year, if you look at it that way, and we'll get more into it down the road, but you'll see that this year was a good year for hip hop. Kev, your thoughts on the project and your expectations moving forward?
It's a great album. I mean, it's a good album. It's a good album. And I don't want, like you said, man, people shouldn't think that, our little minute things as us saying is bad. It's, just nitpicking and just little stuff. It just happened to carry on to a lot of other things what happens on the show quite often though. But overall, it's a good album. It's great to see Kendrick is back. Uh, we're getting close to the end of the year, and our lasting impression is not one song. I mean, overall, Kendrick has given us a full year of good quality music, and it's different. You know what I mean? Like even the other well-known or top rappers in the game, I don't think they have ever done a year like Kendrick just did for 2024. Um, and I think we should appreciate that. Um, do I want more? I do. I do. Maybe I should let this digest a little bit, but um I'm anticipating what's next. Like I want to know what's next. Um how does he carry this on to the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Like uh does anybody respond? You know what I mean? Like, does anybody feel some type of way about some of the stuff he says? Because people have been leaning towards his words and taking them to another direction. Like, what's next? Like, what's next for him, and what's next for others? I think it's exciting, um, and I'm not afraid to say, even though I think Tyler puts out better music than Kendrick, I can honestly, overall, outside of my opinion, I I think it's a hard. I think it's a good debate about who's number one right now, and more. It's so hard to say. It's so hard to say, but um, Kendrick is it. Kendrick is it. He every time he puts something out, it's going to make noise. It's going to bring attention. It's going to have us talking a whole show, just him. You know what I mean? So that's saying something, and we gotta appreciate that. We gotta appreciate it. We gotta give him his love, give him his flowers now because not a lot of people can command this attention or do what he did this year. So kudos to him, man, and just can't wait to see what's going to come next.
Great project. Enjoyed numerous songs on there. Very slick bars throughout. Um, he got I got lost a little bit in some of the things he was saying, but for the most part, production and everything was good, very good. Um, do I look forward to what's next? Not really, but I'm happy that he's being honored currently for his time and what he's been doing in the music, and yeah, I'm gonna keep it positive. So.
All right, man. We appreciate that. We're going to give our last words before we get out of here. We like to thank you guys for listening. Um, Malcolm, any last words before we get out of here?
Hope everybody has a great start of the week, and happy Thanksgiving. Once again, happy belated to Kevin, and I guess we are out of here.
That's what's up. And again, to the birthday boy, Kev, any last words?
Thank you for the birthday love. I did forget something in the beginning. Uh, uh, TJ Swan passed away. Those you don't know, he used to sing on a lot of Biz Markie records back in the day. So just want to acknowledge him. We'll talk on him a little bit more down the line, but yeah, just want to make sure people know about it.
Yeah, definitely another soldier gone too soon in hip hop. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to see that this is getting down to some real scary times. We're losing, I mean, almost every 6 to 8 weeks, we're losing a legend before they're even in their 70s. And all I ask is that you try to take care of yourself, see a doctor, um, and let's try to stay on the planet a little bit longer. We need the mind of our elders to guide the future. Okay. So for me, again, man, I think that this project is amazing. I expect for him to just continue to keep elevating. I wish the best for Kendrick and his crew, and I always wish the best for hip hop. That's my thing. I wish the best for hip hop. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell a friend to tell a friend. Uh, like and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms at Mix Era Rap. We'll be back at you real soon. And man, I just want to thank my co-host. And this was a really, really exciting conversation. Let me just say this before we got here. We could have came at you guys on Friday. We could have came at you on Saturday when it dropped. We wanted to take time to digest and get the full breadth of the project and give you a not a quick, thought and miss something. I think that we were able to listen to the project enough times to give you what we thought was the real ins and out of the project. So with that, we just want to tell you guys, we love you. See you real soon. We out of here. Peace.